So if we talked about forward and backwards body wave, we can also have side wave and reverse. So in order to lead the side wave, we are going to do the following. First, arch to the direction you want to start the wave. You can start it to the right or to the left. So we arch here. When you see the head going that direction, something else has to go to the opposite direction. So look at this hand. Imagine this leads the head and the other leads her center. So as the head goes to my right, the center moves the other way. If she just goes one direction, she's eventually going to lose balance. So in order to do not just lean, but to arch, which is a rounded shape, we go with this to one side and you can see the hip moving to the other side. Then we go a little more. Now we look rounded. Actually, she does. From here, the head is going to go sideways without moving the hip. The head already reached its destination and it can go upwards again. The head can go a little more up. The head is vertical. The hip is where it was in the first moment. From here, we have the shoulder line and the hip, the last coming. And if she goes in reverse, the hip is going to be first, here, shoulder line, head, and up. If you do it very slow, it is going to be difficult. So she has 1, 2, 3, 4. We can lead this, of course, in shadow position. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Or we can be here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, if you do a wave, a side wave in one direction, you don't have to do the reverse in the other. You can do just side waves in both directions. So side wave here, side wave there, or side wave, then reverse and reverse, reverse. Reverse means start leading from the hip. Normal wave, lead from the top. Okay? So side waves can also be led in shadow position or in normal closed position, but most of the time it is led into a closed position. So you are either shadow position but closed position, or facing each other but closed position. It is not impossible, but not so often that you will see them led into an open position. Okay? Moving on, let's talk about the body roll. Body roll, as I've mentioned already, is like a head roll, but with more of the body. We have a few very important tips here in order for you to make a technically correct body roll. What you have to do is to understand the difference between leaning to the side and arching in a circular pattern to the side. So, when we lean to that side, if we want to do not just lean, but we want to actually arch, as I've already mentioned, when something goes to one direction, the other part of the body should go to the other direction. Also, try to do it to the other part. Now, when we do a body roll, actually, she goes through leaning to her right, forward, left, backwards, and so on. So if we understand how to lean to the sides, which is very important because this is how we start the side waves, okay? So this is the beginning of a side wave. We also have to understand what do we do when we have to arch forward. So when she's arching forward, let's say from the side because it is going to be easier, instead of doing this movement, which is a flat movement, what we want is when the head goes forward, the chest goes on the inside. And when the head goes backwards, so the forehead goes backwards, the chest goes forward. Because if you move just one part of the body, then you are going to shift your weight towards one direction until you are actually going to fall. So even if you do a smaller movement like the head roll only engages the head and a little of the shoulder. So it is not such a wide movement. You still have to move the shoulder and the chest accordingly. Because if you just move the head, first, it is going to hurt. Second, you are going to have a very small range of motion than if you would actually move from the shoulder line. And if you forget to engage your chest, you are not going to remain centered, going with the head forward without moving something backwards. Will just move the center of weight forward. If you do just a head roll like this, you will see that nothing happens. Even if you do it wrong, it will just look wrong, but you'll get it. But if you want to do, let's say, a head roll while you turn, you'll see that you actually fall. So why do you fall? Because you're not aligned with your weight. So this is why when you do a body roll or a head roll even, which is a smaller motion, make sure that whenever you lean to one side, you compensate with the center. So if I lean here, this part goes the other way. If I lean here, the other part goes the other way. Now I'm going to use a special device that I have here. It's a very high-tech device that we use when we want to teach head rolls and body rolls. So one thing that is very important is that, as I said, if you tilt your head to the right, make sure that something else moves the other way. Because otherwise, the direction from the distance from my ear to the shoulder is going to become zero. What we want is to be able to do this movement and still have the same distance. Now, there is zero distance here, zero space, but if I place this special device, a cup of coffee, here, I must be able to tilt my head and still fit this here. So instead of ruining this cup of coffee, if I tilt my head and also move the other part of the body, as you can see, I'm able to still fit this here. Also, when I do, or when she does a head roll and the chin goes down, if your chin starts touching your chest, this is bad. I still want to fit this here. So if I move my chin down, the chest goes backwards and the cup of coffee still fits. So this is a very good exercise. Of course, you can decrease the space a little, but you should not get to this position where your chin touches your chest. So make sure you fit something here and you still have space for it there. Okay, so this way, when you're arching, you're not getting into a compacted position. Okay, you still maintain wide and open posture instead of getting into this position. Whenever you do a roll, you still have an extension within your body instead of getting small. So now let's actually do the body roll. From this position, it is going to be the easiest. As you can see, my arms and her arms are in a circular shape. What I want is, imagine this is like, cum se zice la oală?
Pot.
Imagine this is like a pot, and somebody that is up here can see inside the pot. Now we want to show to the people to our left what is inside here, to the people behind us what is in here, to the people to the right, to the people in front of me. So I'm actually tilting the pot in both, in all, not both, directions. Okay, so if I get into a closer shape, it's going to be the same pot, but smaller one. Okay, so I still show the people to my left, look what is inside my shape, to the people backwards. And as you can see, I make room, but by also going a little backwards. This does not mean you cannot start into the other side and go maybe the other direction. So whenever you lead a body roll, it is always easier to start from the side and not directly forward or backwards. And something more, whenever your partner is not very experienced and does not have a good mobility to the back, she can also enhance the movement easier to the side. It is easier to go to the side than to the back. So this direction can be safely enhanced. This direction here depends on her back mobility. So make sure you start very slow. You don't want to hurt your back. So if I do it continuously, as you can see, I lead not just with my hands, but a little with my body also. I can change the direction. One other thing that I can do is combine, let's start from here. I can combine a body roll and a head roll because they're essentially the same kind of movement. So I can come from here, do a body roll, then change it into a head roll. Let's go again from this direction. If I'm closer to her, I have to engage more my body. If I'm further away, I can engage more just my frame. The body can stay still, but it is not recommended. If I'm closer, I will engage my body. And as I engage my body, I can change my mind and also lead a head roll. Every body roll includes a head roll because when she does a body roll, what would be very, very bad is when she goes to the side to just forget about the head. So this is a no-go. So if I try to initiate a body roll and she just forgets about the head, there's nothing you can do. She won't do a body roll. Or at least it won't look like a body roll if you're keeping this like a motorcycle rider, when they tilt, they keep their head straight, I think. Okay. So make sure that when the leader is giving a shape to your body, you actually put the head in the same direction. Don't keep it straight. Okay, this is very, very important tip. And one of the easiest body movement moves that you can learn is the drop move. The drop move is some kind of opposite to a wave. In what way? So first, when we start a wave, a forward and backwards wave, she is going to get the direction with the head downwards and then scoop upwards. So from down to up, if we talk about a normal wave. The drop move is actually the complete opposite. So what I want from the drop move is make her shape out and up. I do this by giving the intention with the hands. I'm not just raising the hands, but putting a little tension towards them. This will indicate her that I want her to shape upwards. If I do this, she will shape downwards. Whenever the leader asks you to shape downwards, most often than not is going to be a wave. If he asks you to shape upwards, is going to be the drop. So how do we do the drop? Make sure you have one foot in front. It is not mandatory, but it is going to be easier. And you keep this shape like an airplane. So she's like an airplane, okay? Chest forward, chin up. And you go down by moving the hips backward and maintaining the same shape. Then when you reach the bottom, you change the shape. So head down and chest on the inside and keep this shape until you finish. So when you're going forward or down, you're in this shape. When you're going backwards and up, you first change into the other shape. Okay? So don't go down like this because this should be a wave. Go down the opposite. What is very important here is don't get into that shape as you're getting down. First, we lead the shape, then the motion, then the other shape, then we finish. We can also do it from here. Now, I wonder, what am I going to do? If I'm staying like this, probably neither. If I'm shaping like this, I'm indicating her it is going to be a wave. If I'm shaping like this, and as you can see, I also do a shape with my body. I don't just do this. Okay, it's like a breathe in and breathe out exercise. So I breathe, I shape, then her hips go backwards, change, and up. Hips backwards is very important for your balance because your partner, by mistake, may even pull you a little more and you are going to fall forward. But if you push your hip backwards, you are going to maintain your balance much easier. Even if they do, this mistake is very common. So you may encounter it and you must know how to be prepared for it. Now, one more thing, it is, as I said, very important for the guide to give, for the leader, to give the proper indication before the movement comes. So I must do what we call a preparation for the movement. From here, I don't go straight down without indicating her what's about to happen. I first give the shape here. This is going to be a drop, or I give this shape here, which is going to be a wave. We can also do this in shadow position. I'm staying diagonal so you can see better. If I do this, she's preparing for a drop. If I, on the other hand, do this, so I shape her this way, she's preparing for a body wave. So it is very important to know how to do the preparation because this gives an indication to her before the actual movement about what's going to happen next. Next, I'm going to answer a question before it is actually even asked because we get this question during our classes very often. When we do this drop movement, do we have to keep our knees straighten or can we bend the knees? It depends on the speed and detail of the drop movement. If we have a very slow movement, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, you look much better and elegant with your knees straightened and you have time to do a very engaging move. But if we have a very fast move, you can't go fast with your body down and up. So you're actually going to cheat a little, and instead of leaning that much forward, you are going to bend the knees. So it will look something like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So she's bending a little to like cheat in order to get some more speed. Okay, so whenever we have time and we want to show a very big and detailed move, we keep the knees straight. If it must be fast, we are going to cheat by actually bending a little and going up. This position with the knee bend, it looks like you're sitting on something else, but because it is fast, you aren't actually going to notice this position. Don't do this if you are doing it very slow. So if you're doing it very slow, you don't want to be seen in this position. Okay? If you do it slow, keep your knees straighten. If you do it fast, it is going to be a split of a second when you actually have your knees bent and then go straight up.